Let's see if this works, because it has been a few months. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the SLP Peep. I am Janelle, an SLP, and today, wow, it has been a few months and I am remembering some of this intro. And I totally forgot how to do the other part of the intro too. And you can see my shadow. Here on this channel we talk about all things SLP, speech language pathology related, whether that's the 9 specific areas that we work on, or how to work with others, or just anything that can be related to speech language pathology. If you're interested in this sort of content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and let's move on. So it has been a few months. My last video was actually at the end of September. And I had all the plans in the world to put out another video towards the end of October, end of November, end of December to do those holiday specials that I liked to do in previous years. This would have been, I think, year 3 for them, but that didn't happen. Now, why did that not happen? It's a combination of a whole bunch of different things. Let's talk about possibly the biggest problem that happens to speech language pathologists, OTs, PTs, doctors, nurses, CNAs, any clinician out there: burnout. Burnout is a sucky thing. It basically feels like you're at your last steps. You're at the end of your rope. If you were a match, you'd be at the bottom of the matchstick. I almost said wick. Burnout is very personalized, but not in the best way. For everyone, burnout is slightly different, but there are some similarities. Anxiousness, being tired, no longer feeling the joy in what you do. Those are some of the more common trends with it. There are other things, but we're gonna go with that for now. Burnout can happen for a plethora, so many reasons. Some of it is you get in the same rut and you do the same thing over and over again and there's nothing new or exciting happening. Some of it is you get in the same rut and you do the same thing over and over again and there's nothing new or exciting happening. It can also happen when you're overworked, not enough sleep. You're trapped in a box and more demands are placed on you. That's kind of a metaphor that I was going for right there. I want to go over what happened to me in my burnout and my situation. Now, I have a calendar. It's pretty much the best calendar I can make, and it's very simple. It has the 12 months of the year, and I physically get to write in when each report is due for all of my clients. It's very simple, and it keeps me on task, and it helps me organize and prepare what I need to do. The problem that I personally had was that I had like 14 reports due in 1 month. To add insult to injury, this was also the month I was planning a 2-week vacation. And to add to that, some of them were re-evaluation reports, which basically means I should have started about 2 months prior. It's when kids cancel, and because all these reports were due in October and school starts end of August, beginning September, and a lot of these kids hadn't been in school, a lot of them kept canceling because they were sick, which added stress. Continuing on, this pretty much just had a snowball effect. I knew my situation. I knew I was going on that vacation. I knew I was actually leaving a few days before that vacation because, lo and behold, I had a wedding to go to. But I did it. I did all my reports. In fact, I kept emailing my boss, letting her know, hey, it is day 5 in the month of October, and I have submitted 5 reports. It is day 7 in the month of October, and I submitted 10 reports. Yeah, by day 12, I had submitted, I think, 13 reports. 13 of 15 reports. And that was the point I stopped. And I told her, I don't care. The rest of the reports will be submitted after I come back from vacation. I'm tired. So there was that going on. I was going on vacation for 2 weeks. Great, wonderful time. It wasn't, that did not happen. While vacation is wonderful, I was able to get out of the house. I was able to explore new things, which I personally love doing. It also allowed me to have a lot of time to worry. I have not mentioned about my dog recently. His name is Resty. He is a rescue dog. He is a Cocker Spaniel. He loves pets and attention and pets and cuddle time. This was the longest I would be away from my dog, 2 weeks. And his health has not been the best, and I have been worried about him. And I was worried about him non-stop for those 2 weeks. I had taken him to the vet. I had taken him to a specialist. Yes, there are specialists for dogs. And this was a dermatology specialist. Dermatology helped me get rid of the super bugs that he had, but they couldn't explain why his skin sores were not leaving. I did what they recommended. They were not getting any better. We kept going back and forth until finally, when I came back from vacation, he was doing awful. So I had to make a choice. Should we continue seeing the specialist, continue putting him on medication, which was hard enough to give him, and he really did not like it, or do I take him off medication, which may shorten his lifespan, but he will be happier and there won't be so much stress between the two of us? I decided to do that, and ironically, he's doing a lot better now. Now that takes us throughout October. Well, November was hindered by, he came back home from vacation October 30th, which came home, my dog was doing horribly, so that pretty much took care of all of November there, eh? And in addition to that, it's the mental prep of, oh, we have the holidays coming up. We are housing 2 refugees at my house. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention that. In 2022, my mother and I decided to house refugees. That takes us to the end of November, beginning of December. By this time, I pretty much had all of my holiday shopping done. That was a nice stress relief. And then it started raining. And Californians, especially Southern Californians, we don't know how to drive in rain. But all these things added on to my stress. I was having a harder time at work. For some reason, reports just weren't getting done, even though I had a whole lot less than the month of October. Don't get me wrong. This coming October in 2023, it is still my heavy month for reports. But thankfully, the insurance has changed their policies where we don't have to write reports every 6 months. We now have to write them every year, which is great. But it's still my heavy month because that's when all the evaluations are due. Anyway, long story short, it's still a heavy month, just not 15 report month heavy. Now, where am I going with this? Interestingly enough, my burnout did not start in October. It did not start in September. It actually started a while before that. What happened was a few months prior. At the beginning of 2022, I was only working 4 days a week. And that worked well with me. Now, I planned to go back to work 5 days a week, and I did end up doing that. It was kind of like a sudden shift, a sudden change in everything. When one of my coworkers left, I was able to take over her caseload, and I was full-time in one office. So this was like a sudden jumpstart to working 5 days a week. So that was how I went from 4 days to 5 days. What I'm realizing about myself is as much as I want to work 5 days a week, mentally, I need that day off. There are other things that were contributing to my stress, one of which I actually just found out last night. I know, a big long thing to say. Burnout is not something that you can check a few boxes off and say, oh, I'm out of burnout. It's a continual check and balances, meaning something you need to take a self-inventory with, and you have to find out where your tipping line is, which is difficult because your tipping line is going to change. What you were able to handle before is not going to be the same as what you are able to handle now, and is not going to be the same as what you're going to be able to handle in the future. Burnout is relative. What you can handle, your stress levels, is all relative. It's all going to change. So, how can you manage it? One of the very first things that I realized about myself is I need to see the signs of burnout. Basically, how do I act? How do I feel? And what has changed in my life? I realize I get more anxious. I don't find the joy in things anymore. And usually this isn't things that happen in the moment. These things started a few months prior, and it's just been snowballing into a bigger effect. And while I could put band-aids on the current things, I need to look back and think what happened prior. Just like how burnout doesn't happen in a snap, to fix it does not happen in a snap as well. When I first changed my work schedule so I would only be there for 4 days a week, the first few weeks, all I did was I slept. I just slept in, and it felt great. But I also felt really bad because I wasn't getting anything done, but that's what my body needed to recover. It needed rest. And after a few weeks, I was able to do more things that I wanted to do, where I was able to feel replenished and happy, and I was finding the joy in life again. I would love to go back to making 4 videos a month. I'd love it. Not while I'm working 4.5 days, because that is stressful for me right now. So for right now, I will only be producing minimum 1 video a month. The goal is eventually, yes, I will be doing a lot more, but right now, 1 video a month. So, I've already made some goals. Taking time, doing 4 days a week instead of 5 days a week, adding videos. I like this explaining mental health burnout thing, which ironically was a goal for last year, and I'm doing it now, so I'm going to consider that done for last year, goal for this year, done for this year too. Thank you so much for watching. I know this video was a little bit scattered, but welcome to burnout. I hope you have a terrific day. For the question of the day, what are your goals for 2023? They don't have to be year-long goals. It could be for a month, or you want to get it done within 2 months. I have a few things in mind for myself, but what are your goals? Remember to list them down below. I hope you remember to like and subscribe, especially if you're interested in this sort of content. And I hope you have a terrific day and rest of the month of January. Until February, or sooner if I'm able to. Bye-bye.